Now, Sports Talk with Brodes. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Sports Talk with Brodes. I know it's uncomfortable thinking about the Eagles not being relevant in Week 17, and it's not because they already have a playoff spot solidified. It's because they suck. It's because they're bad. It's because there's dysfunction. So it's a very unsettling feeling in the stomach. But instead of breaking down X's and O's, what's going to happen with third-string offensive linemen, I figured it would be interesting to look at it from more of a social experiment type of view. And what do I mean by that? Well, I asked a couple Twitter poll questions, and you can follow me at Brodes81 on Twitter. I feel like I give some fun in-game live tweets. I feel like I throw some sarcasm out there that will make you chuckle. I feel I give some solid information in terms of news. So if you're looking for a good follow, I'm just saying, at Brodes81 is probably a good bet. Also, we are broadcasting live from the Manscaped Man Cave. You get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. So the first question I asked was, how will you view this last game on Sunday? And there's three options. You're either going to appreciate that it's the last game of the season. It's football. It's Eagles football. You're willing to admit that it was a brutal season and it was an awful watch, but because it's the last game that you will see from this team in so damn long, you will honestly not get too worried about it, have it on TV, and take it all in. You're taking it all in, essentially. That's option number one. Option number two, you won't even watch. You can't stand Doug Peterson's face. You can't stand Howie Roseman. You're pissed off with Jeffrey Lurie. Seeing the Eagles logo right now makes you want to vomit because they are not playing up the standards. So with all of that being said and boiling inside of you, you can't even turn the damn game on. And I think that one stands out to me a little bit more than the others because not that I feel that way. I'll be honest with you. I can't not watch the Eagles. That doesn't work for me. It's going to be on my television. When you look at the fact that this game is at 8:20, it's a Sunday night football game, I think that allows people, it actually forces people to tune in more so than if the game was at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If the game's at 1, it's Sunday, you got errands to run, you got to do things with the kids, you got to go grocery shopping, you maybe return some gifts from the holidays. I don't know, you name it, walk the dog. If the game was at 1, I think people would actually vote that more than they did because, well, the game's at 8:20. You're probably done your errands. You're going to settle in. You already had dinner. Now maybe you go movie. Maybe you go movie on one of the HBO channels, one of the HBO networks, Stars. What else is on there? Encore. Maybe just a simple Netflix or Hulu. But I think the 8:20 plays a factor. And your last option was, you're going to watch, but it's going to be in disgust. So here's how it broke down. 52% of people are still going to watch, but they will be furious, and they will be upset, and they will not enjoy it because, well, look what happened. Look what happened this season. It all fell apart. It became miserable from the jump. Terrible! And I'm starting to get pissed off just thinking about it because there's a lot that you forget about because it's been so many damn months. But remember what happened against the Cincinnati Bengals? Oh, God, no! Putting the football away, putting your hands up and saying, "I'll take the tie." Not even giving your team the attempt to go out there and try and win the football game. You'd settle with the tie. What a terrible message sent to the football team. Remember that trash? Remember what happened against the Cleveland Browns? Oh, all of it. I mean, we can go on and on. Washington, the first game of the season. They were up how much? They lost by how much? Oh! So 52% essentially have a little bit more than half of the people who voted on this poll said they're going to watch, but they're not going to be happy watching it. It's all going to be pretty much out of hate. 30% will appreciate the game for what it is. I can't do that. they have put us through so much emotion. They have put us through so much pain and suffering that there's no appreciating. I can't appreciate a damn thing they did. And I know what type of time it is this year with COVID, and they're going through all these protocols. And from a human level, sure, I understand what they went through. But from a football level, there's so many other teams that went through all the same protocols. There's so many other teams that didn't have a training camp the same way. There's so many other teams that weren't allowed in their version of the NovaCare complex. And guess what? Those squads are still playing meaningful football. Those teams are still playing well. There's cohesiveness. They're not falling apart. Their organization is structured. They don't have a power struggle from the top. So from a human being level, when it comes to their family and not seeing their kids, from all that, I can appreciate what they sacrificed. I'm not one of those buffoons that just pretend as if, oh, they're athletes, that's all they are. They don't have a life outside of football. No, they're human beings that do have a family, that do have people they care about, and football does impact what they do. So to make a sacrifice like this for this season, I'm fully aware and I recognize that that's very important. From a purely football standpoint, though, they gave us nothing for us to be able to reach back and just settle in with a, hey, I can appreciate what they did. If they were, I'll just throw a random hypothetical out there. If they were 9-7, and 9-7 wasn't good enough to make the playoffs, and somehow you knew that you weren't really going to get in, it just wasn't a reality. You're 9-7, last game of the season, and teams go 10-6 and don't make the postseason. So in this hypothetical, that's what happens. That is the type of game where, all right, look, you're 9-7, you're going into the last game, you don't really have that great of a shot to do it, however it all laid out, and okay, I can appreciate what you gave us this year. Or let's say that, they finished 9-7 with a win in the last week. All right, I mean, you can live with it, even though I'm sure you'll be aggravated and bitch and complain about things, as we should. That's what we are supposed to do. That's our job. Criticize them or give them a lot of praise for what they do successfully. That is more of an appreciation game in Week 17. This? What are they? 4-11-1? 4-10-1? Oh! So no. I also want to hear from the people. So instead of taking anytime hotline calls today, I left it more open to a text board kind of concept. So there are a few that chimed in that said they are going to just appreciate it. This is from Callan. I will watch the game and appreciate it because it's the last game until September 2nd. So Callan is going with the philosophy of, I won't see the Eagles play in so damn long. I need to value this time. I value Eagles playing so much, and I don't take it for granted that when they are on, I don't care what the situation is. I don't care what their record is. I don't care who they're playing on the field, as if who's playing for the Eagles, and I don't care who's playing against the Eagles. I'm going to value that time because it's very limited. He also goes on to state that as I never want them to lose. Oh, this ties into my second poll question, which it would be a good idea to throw that out now. Are you rooting for the Eagles to lose? 86% said yes, they want the draft pick. 14% says you play to win the game. And I'm also surprised that 14% went with that philosophy. I know it doesn't make sense, but I'm in the minority here. I want them to win. I want them to have the mentality of Jason Kelce. I want them to have the mentality of J.J. Watt. Excuse me, I almost forgot his name for a second. That's winning football. That's what that is. That's the right culture. Now, it's a little different this week because you have so many guys out. Barnett, Bradley, Goddard, Deshaun Mailata, Duke Riley, Richard Rodgers, Sanders. You're not playing your go-to guys. You're not playing your high-level players. So you have a bunch of people who are fighting for their jobs, whether it's with the Eagles or they just want to put on tape for other teams throughout the league, hey, I can play. Hey, I can ball. So when you're that low on the practice squad, whenever you get a chance, you're going to play with a high motor. You're going to be a high-energy guy because you know that you are so limited in opportunities, you got to go out there and fight regardless. So it's a little different for this specific scenario. But in terms of the organizational philosophy, I can see what losing does, and a draft pick is what you need. And I know a lot will scream that, well, Howie Roseman will screw it up anyway, this and that. With all those jokes being thrown around, although it's not really a joke, he does have a brutal track record as of late. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I can't root for my team to lose. I don't want them to lose. I think winning football organizations have the mentality of Jason Kelce and J.J. Watt. If you want to lose because, our franchise will be better, as a player, that shouldn't matter to you because some of you guys won't be here, and you don't know what the contract situation is for other guys. Win the game. Battle. Play. I wanted to tie it back to Doug Peterson and say, will these guys fight and show something about Doug Peterson's culture? But once again, when you bring up the fact that these veterans and some of your guys aren't even playing, well, no matter who's out there from a practice squad standpoint, they're going to fight, scratch, and claw no matter who the head coach is because they want to make sure that they can prove to someone who will ever watch this tape that, hey, I can do something. You can utilize me. I have value. So that gets thrown out the window from a Doug Peterson perspective. And even with the Jalen Hurts perspective, it's kind of tough to, really analyze this because it would be great for him to go out there, win, when Washington has something to play for. They have a chance to win the division. If they win, they're in. So that is a huge mentality for the Washington football team. It's not going to be like they're walking through the park because, they're already solidified or they're not in the postseason. This matters to them. So from a Jalen Hurts perspective, playing with a bunch of practice squad guys, playing with a bunch of nobodies out there, if they can win the football game with backup linemen, which they've been playing with for the start of the season, sheesh. I mean, is that really anything different? If they can win that game while the other team has a win-now attitude, we need to win right now. This is huge. This is it. This is the playoff game, essentially. Well, that will tell me something for sure, but I don't know how much more you're going to move me from Jalen Hurts. I have Jalen Hurts somewhere already on my 1 to 10 scale of intrigue. Him winning this game, losing this game, I think he's pretty much solidified in that spot as of now because, as I stated, 4-game sample size, it's so small, it's so limited. There's not that much room to be jumping around. He's already kind of where he is for me personally when it comes to, how excited I am for what he possibly can be and the Carson Wentz drama, this and that. But getting back to Kalen, because I never got back to his second point after bringing up the second poll. He says, as I never want them to lose because that's the fan inside of you, I think losing will be better for the future. You get a shot with the better draft pick. And there's no doubt about it that you will benefit from the organization if you are going to lose. And I think that puts you in a better spot to go out and draft someone. You see Devontae Smith going out there and scoring 3 touchdowns in a big college football playoff game. And you see what Chase does for LSU when you look at his numbers, and I don't know if they'd even go wide receiver. Would you trade down in the draft so you get more picks because there's so many damn holes that you need to fix? You need as many shots in the draft as you can get because clearly getting 1 shot in the first round or 2 shots between your first and second round pick isn't enough to be able to land talent for you to move forward with. There's so many ways to go about this, and I'm not trying to specifically get into what you should do in the draft right now. There's a lot of time, and I bet your ass there's going to be a lot of conversations about what the Eagles need to do as an organization in the offseason, so let's not look too big picture, but it is right that losing will be better for you, and maybe they naturally just do that. I actually, believe it or not, call me crazy, before we knew who was going to start, before we knew what they were going to do, I thought maybe this would be a good chance for Carson Wentz. This would be a good chance for him to just go play. Don't worry about it. This game means nothing. The problem is, if you're going to be throwing around all this garbage, and they're doing that for Jalen Hurts, so it's not like there's a fair way to do this, but you wouldn't be surrounding him with a lot, and you'd be going against a team like Washington who has something to fight for. When you're looking at Carson Wentz, you need to build his confidence as much as possible. So as much as it for him would be dude, just go play. Just go enjoy football, have fun again, relax. As much as it would be it for him, you need to get him going with confidence, and I don't think this would be the scenario to do it, and I wonder how they feel about the injury side of things. Would it be worth getting someone injured? Now, while I say all this, I know some might be thinking, well, you're doing that for Jalen Hurts. You're throwing him out there with garbage. You don't want to get him hurt. I know. Someone's got to play quarterback, though, unless you just want to throw Nate Sudfeld out there, which I think they want as much tape with Jalen Hurts as possible. They want to see as much of Jalen Hurts as they possibly can. That's why they go with him, but I thought it would be a good chance with Carson Wentz to see if he learned anything. His ass has been sitting on the bench for how long now? Franchise quarterback guy getting paid how much money? Did you learn anything, Carson? So I could see why they would have went down that road. At the same time, I can see why maybe they elected to go in another situation. This is from Sean Fitzpatrick. Watching in disgust, he says, knowing that you're the worst team in the worst division in football, in NFL history, is a bitter pill to swallow. I want the loss. I'm actively pulling for a solid L, as a high pick as possible is important. Also, praying guys like Jalen Hurts, who will be big in 2021, don't get injured. So how about that? It's almost like you read my damn mind. I just pick and choose which ones I'm going to read, and it's bang, bang, bang. You fed right off me, Sean, even though you sent that in hours ago. 2021 and tying Jalen Hurts into this. Let's restate that last sentence. Also, praying that guys like Jalen Hurts, who may be big in 2021, don't get injured. It's a wild world we are living in, where you have Carson Wentz signed to your football team, but we're a little nervous that someone like Jalen Hurts doesn't have any sort of injury because he may be the big guy. He might be the go-to guy in 2021. And I saw a lot of conversations this week about picking. Just going with someone and picking a guy. Don't play the middle. Don't do the quarterback camp. Pick a guy, live with your decision. And I thought, well, that's an interesting way to kind of look at things. And I feel it's very, 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 very hard to make this type of decision. And it's very hard to bring both of them back as if, well, this isn't a weird spot to be in. No. This is not normal. This is very unique. And you put yourself here. I kind of like that philosophy. Pick a guy. Go with someone. Financially, find a way. Whatever you want to do. If it's staying with Jalen Hurts, fine. Move on from Carson Wentz then. Eat the cap. Do what you got to do. Pick a damn guy. Have an identity. And I think same can be said about the head coach. Reuben Frank of NBC Sports Philadelphia put out a nice article about having three options with Doug P. Either bring in an offensive coordinator and let him be the offensive mind, let him be the offensive wizard, let him play call and do some play designing. With Doug Peterson being a role, obviously, a head coach on the offensive side of the football, he will be in play with what this team does offensively, but you're going to bring in an actual offensive coordinator. Either do that, give Doug control, or stay with what you're doing, which is an absolute mess. So I feel you have so many decisions, but pick your quarterback, pick what you want to do with your offense, and choose. And from there, live with what your decision is. Instead of, I don't know, this is murky, what do we do? Let's just do the safe thing. Let's bring everyone back. Let's just see what happens. Let it play out naturally. No, I don't think you can do that. I think at this point, you dug yourself such a hole. Choose. And since I brought up Doug Peterson, Rob Motti asked Doug about having a lot of people involved with the offense. You ready for this answer? A lot of positives and great ideas with the communication. At the end of the day, I want to make sure there's one voice heard offensively and nobody else's. That's the part I got to get across to the staff. I have done that, and I want to make sure there is one voice talking to the quarterbacks. Whoever is in that room, press is in that room. They are speaking, I want them to be speaking the same language, and we are on the same page, and that's important in every single position. So pretty strong words, though. Ready for this? I'm going to repeat. Today's the Brodes repeat day. At the end of the day, I want to make sure there's one voice heard offensively and nobody else's. That's the part I got to get across to the staff. We've been harping on this for a long period of time. Too many cooks in the kitchen. It works for teams. To act as if this style isn't effective, well, that's not reality. Kyle Shanahan benefits from it a lot. A lot of teams do go with this method. For Doug Peterson, I don't think that this is the best method to go. I think he needs help. I think there needs to be more structure internally. And with the coaches, they got to be more cohesive. We talk about teams being cohesive all the time. Well, it starts in the game planning. It starts in the offices. It starts with all of these coming together, all of these people coming together and having one message, having one game plan. And when there's 7 different voices for this head coach, that is not the strongest way to do things. Now, it does seem like the way Doug Peterson is speaking, he is safe. It sounds that way. Well, it also sounded like Mike Rowe was going to come back as offensive coordinator just a year or two ago. And what happened? He was fired. Are we reliving another moment where Doug Peterson to the media tells one story, has one vibe, has one message, but behind closed doors, it's totally different? Do I think that is reality? I don't. I'm just trying to look at things objectively, and I'm trying to use some of their history with this head coach, with the media at the end of the year, and tie it together to what I'm seeing now. It definitely is a possibility. You can't deny that it is possible that Doug is giving off this vibe. I'm safe. I feel comfortable. This is fine. I want to be the solution. While behind closed doors, Jeffrey Lurie's looking at this guy going, Doug, what are you doing? I'll say it again for the 10th billionth time. I believe Doug Peterson deserves one more shot at things. I want to tell you about my friends at DraftKings. DraftKings Sportsbook is giving all new players a deposit bonus up to $1,000 when signing up using promo code BRODES. DraftKings Sportsbook has endless ways for you to bet, from live betting to betting on your favorite players. They do it all. Check out the DraftKings Sportsbook app every day this week to cash in on their daily odds boosts. New boosts are posted every single day for the biggest sporting events. DraftKings is safe, reliable, and secure, making it easy for you to deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code BRODES when you sign up and get up to $1,000. That's code BRODES to get a deposit bonus up to $1,000 for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Pennsylvania only, in partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. Bonus comprised of a first deposit bonus. Deposit bonus requires 25 times playthrough. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, this is from Victoria. I'm watching in disgust, as usual. And I feel that's the way it has been for this season. Everyone has turned on the television on Sundays, whether it was 4:05, 4:25, 1 o'clock, and you were miserable right from the jump. I will admit that there was some sort of fan base change when the quarterback change happened, and there was a spark. There was a different level of energy. Well, you saw in the game against their last game against Dallas, that sort of fizzled out, and you saw reality once again. Offensive line, putrid. Weapons, can't get open. Not using the run game, getting away from that. And it is pretty crazy to me that we sit here freaking out about the run game, right? And I think a lot of us are aware that you don't need to run the ball like you did in the old days. We're not screaming. Some might. Some of the old guys might. But we're not screaming that you need to be 50-50 every single game. This is a different league, and you can be more pass happy, but to the level of Doug Peterson is asinine. It's trash. It's garbage. So it doesn't legitimately have to be 50-50, but it can't be giving your best playmaker 6 carries in a football game, 11 carries in a football game, utilizing him 15 times, and giving Jordan Howard 5 carries. I mean, who makes those decisions? I really do wonder, is that a Deuce Staley thing? At what point is it Deuce putting out certain guys? Like, I don't know, but who makes that decision that you have someone in Miles Sanders, but you want to use Jordan Howard 5 times? It would be different. I've stressed this before. If Miles Sanders had 25 carries, then Jordan Howard getting 5 is fine. But if you're giving your top dog 12, and you're giving Boston Scott 2 or 3 and Jordan Howard 3, that's bad football. That's bad coaching. Does Deuce have a say in that? Is that Doug Peterson? Where does that lie? It needs to change. And we are so deep into Doug Peterson at this point that I think we don't really recognize. It's almost as if you need to take a few steps back, more than a few, millions of steps back, and look at Doug Peterson's run ratio and really digest it. We know it's bad. I just don't think we truly know how bad it is because of how putrid he does this. How trash he calls games when it comes to getting away from establishing the run. It's not just about what you're calling offensively. It's how the other teams defend those looks. When you are passing the football, I'm throwing it out there. I remember we had Sal Powell on. At one point, we were dissecting a game on a Friday because he comes on the Sports Bash on 97.3 on Fridays. And he talked about how Doug Peterson, over 80% were passing plays. I think the number was 87. Don't quote me. I know that sounds outrageously high, but I'm pretty positive it was like 87% in one of these matchups. What are you going to do as a defense? Are you going to stack the box? Are you going to be afraid that they're going to run the football on you? Because they're not. And I don't want to hear this silly excuse that if you're down, you have to pass. I watched him run the damn football when they were down 16-0 to the Arizona Cardinals, and they came back. They were down 16-0, committed to the run. Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders using the two. And is it easier to do that when you have a mobile quarterback like Jalen Hurts? Yes, you can't run the same stuff with Wentz that you do with Jalen Hurts from a run game standpoint. Read options. That opens up another play and another avenue of the run game. It adds another layer of the run game, but you're a head football coach in the National Football League. If you're telling me you can't find a way to run the football effectively and efficiently with a quarterback like Carson Wentz, then you're a joke. So take 10 million steps back. Look at what Doug Peterson has done with this run game, and it's putrid. It's so awful. But we are so deep into it, I feel we are numb to how brutal it is, even with screaming to a high level that he needs to fix that part of his play calling. Josh Trainer, I might be in the unpopular opinion, but I want to win on Sunday. I won't cry if they lose. I won't be devastated if they lose. I just want to see them compete. I guess it's not necessarily about the win. Do I want to see them go out there and win a football game? Yeah, I know it doesn't make sense, but I do. It really is about the effort level. Just go out there and battle. Just go out there and fight. Show me something. Show me some heart. It's a lot different, though. It is. It's a lot different after seeing who's going to be inactive, who's going to be out, who's not playing. If guys were playing and going out there, it would be a different story. I just want to see the team compete. So in terms of, I hope they win, I don't know if it's as strong as that, but I hope they show me a little something. I hope I don't waste 3 hours of my life, even though I know the outcome is irrelevant to this team. And I'll be quite honest with you. I don't even give a damn if Dallas gets in, if the Giants get in, if Washington gets in. Like, I don't care. I think people are really into this because they don't want the Dallas Cowboys to have a playoff game. And I don't want them to either. But have you seen this team? Have you seen this defense? They're not going to win a damn thing. So I don't care. And I don't care if their fans have extra fun for a week, this or that. Like, I don't care. Look at it from this perspective. They're going to have a first place schedule. If they end up winning the division, that means next season when everything goes around, they're going to have a first place schedule. You want to look at it from a positive standpoint? There's your positive. But I don't give a damn. None of these teams have a legit chance of doing anything. And that would never even cross my mind to begin with. Anyway, as much as I hate Dallas, and I think it's a great rivalry, and as much as I don't like the Giants, I don't care about other teams that much. I just don't. I care about this team, this organization, what they do, how they're going to fix things. Dallas could do whatever the hell they want. Until things get fixed here, I don't give a damn. Why should I care about what's happening with Andy Dalton, Dak Prescott, their defense, their wide receivers, when we have the worst ran franchise in the division right now, in the league right now? Maybe Houston's worse, but if you're in the same conversation as Houston and the New York Jets, you have such miserable decisions to make. Let's figure out those issues before we start worrying about, Dallas is going to play a postseason game. Oh, they're going to be at home. Oh, there's fans. First off, the Eagles have to take care of business for that to happen anyway, and the Cowboys have to take care of business as well. But don't waste your energy on something that doesn't matter, or it shouldn't matter to you at this moment. Fix internally first, then start worrying about other situations around the league. This is from Flowman. I will watch, but I'm not expecting anything good out of it. Just kind of watching out of habit. And I absolutely hope they lose for 3 reasons. A higher draft pick, screw the Cowboys. I want to give Wentz a fair shot with a competent coaching staff. And if they lose, they'll have to make big staff changes, and there's no shot they should consider starting next year with Jalen as quarterback 1. I don't know what they're going to do. I can't even speculate at this point. Here's one thing I want to discuss, though. You say that you want to make big staff changes because you want Wentz with a competent coaching staff. I don't think that this game really changes what Jeffrey Lurie thinks. It shouldn't, at least, and I really don't think it does. The outcome of this football game should have no impact on Doug Peterson staying or leaving. You know already, right? You already have all the information you need. You either think this is the guy, you either think this is the guy and he needs some help, so you build a different supporting cast around him, or you move on. But there's no way a game against Washington with backups in should tell you what you need to know about Doug Peterson. That's how I see this. I would imagine after having almost 5 full seasons now, it would be 5 full after the completion of the game, you have a lot of data, a lot of statistics, and a lot of information on the head coach. My big worry is he gets away from the game plan. He gets out-coached. He doesn't really make adjustments. We've been ripping and destroying Nolan for how long? The defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. And somehow he waxes Doug Peterson. He abuses Doug Peterson. They can't find a damn way. After scoring 14 points early, they score 3 points the rest of the football game. All right? It's embarrassing that has happened. And that's just one example of thousands of examples. Doug Peterson is not good at thinking on his feet. What happened against Dallas? Going for it on 4th and 15, throwing it under the sticks here, punting it after a false start when they were going to go for it on 4th and 3rd, but it became 4th and 8. He let the game get away from him. He let the game totally slide right through him, and he's done that so many different times. He's been abused by the moment. He is a prisoner of the moment. And if you are a head coach that gets waxed and abused by being on the sidelines on Sunday afternoons, you're not a good football coach. How many times did I say this after a game this year? On Monday, when you talk in your post-game presser, I don't want to hear, I should have done this, I should have done that, I made a mistake here, I made a mistake there. Fix those damn mistakes on the sideline. If it happens once in a blue moon, fine, you're going to make mistakes as a head coach. You're not perfect, you're a human. I can't hear it 4 straight weeks. I can't hear it 5 straight weeks. Now, I've seen a better version of Doug Peterson, just like I've seen a better version of a lot of these players. Do I think this is Doug? No. I think Doug needs help, though. And I at least give him one more chance. The problem is, and it's unfortunate to Doug Peterson, but because of his surroundings, a.k.a. Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie, who does have an impact on this roster, you're in hell. You're in hell. If you anticipate this roster being something Doug Peterson can really work with moving forward for next year, it's not going to be reality. You're going to have a lot of holes, a lot of issues, young guys you draft, moving on from veteran players. What's going to happen with the injuries next season? Because if I'm going to take a wild guess at things, I bet you they fall on their face. They get through a lot of injuries again. It's going to be another one of those because that's just how it's been to this point. And I think I heard Doug Peterson bring up some interesting things about that. Maybe I can do different practice habits. Maybe we can do things differently throughout the week so these injuries don't happen. Oh, now you're going to think about that? Don't you think that should have been processed years ago? My point is, Doug Peterson being back next year, if that is the case, and if I say, hey, he's got one more shot at it, he's getting handed a bunch of shit. He's getting handed a bunch of slop. He's going to have nothing again, and it might cost him. At the end of the day, it might cost him, because if they come in next year and they have another poor season because their roster is depleted and bad, well, it's going to fall on someone. So whether that's Howie Roseman, Doug Peterson, both, only time will tell. I want to let you know about my friends at Orbit Energy and Power. They've been with me for a long period of time. They're the greatest. I'm a new homeowner. They've done so much to my home. With over 20 years of experience in the industry, they're home to your solar experts in residential and commercial if you're looking for your business. Their solar program helps eliminate your electric bill completely. They also provide water purification systems, clean, healthy water for your family, backup energy services, tree removals, electrical upgrades, battery storage, and more. A+, best-in-class work, from the install team to the crew members to the actual execution of it, to their team members in the office, to their pricing, to their speed, the quickness of the installation, you name it. They do everything fantastic. So make sure you check out their information. It's all down below. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time.